Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's video. We have already covered so much, and today I think this is just going to be such a treat because we are really getting into the golden nuggets that are actually going to move your business, your local listing into that position number one. So just a quick recap of all that we have covered and how far we have come. In video one, we talked about the local marketing channel, which is the Google Plus pages. We talked about how to take advantage of it and really position yourself for the ongoing trend that's really just going to keep adding so much value to this online real estate of occupying those top spots. In video two, we went over step by step how to set up a Google Plus page. We talked about maximizing every aspect and not leaving out any of the details that so many business owners do. We went over a few tactics that are really going to help you outperform your competitors, and those are those ninja tactics that we talked about. And then last video, we went over reviews. We talked about why they matter, how they play into the algorithm that Google uses to actually rank businesses. We talked about how to get them and how to keep getting them. And then we dove into the big three heavy hitters, Yahoo, Local, Bing Local, and Yelp. And we talked about why they're so important, both on their own as well as contributing to the overall factor of ranking in the Google Plus pages local pack. So with that, today we've got some awesome stuff. We are going to be focusing on the nitty gritty, top tier 1% stuff to get you to move into position number one. A lot of what we go over today are things that even people in the search engine optimization industry miss. You'd be surprised how many professionals I talk to that aren't doing all of this for their clients. And you knowing this information and taking action on it, you're going to be hands down at an advantage to outperform your competitors. So what are we going to be covering? First and foremost, we're going to be talking about duplicate and incorrect information. This is what I consider the holy grail to sinking your rankings. And unfortunately, so many companies out there fall victim to this. I'm going to show you how you can actually do a self-audit to make sure that all of your information is correct. And if it's not correct, how to actually go about correcting it. We're going to go over citations. I've mentioned citations a little bit before in the previous videos, but I'm going to really explain to you what they are and why they are so important to Google. And then I'm also going to show you another guarded secret, and I left this as a blank just because it's so awesome, and I don't have a official wording for it, but I want you to stay tuned. I'll let you know when we're actually going over this. Truly something amazing. I think your eyes are going to widen really, really big when we show you what's coming here. We're also going to be talking about social signals. This is a new frontier that really is providing so much value for the organic rankings, and when utilized for the local page rankings that Google has, you really just see amazing results. And I'm going to show you how to actually utilize these in more than one ways to ensure your success. And then finally, we're going to talk about how to stay on top, because it doesn't do much good if you climb that mountain, get to the top, and then a few weeks later you're already trickling down. So we're going to jump into a ton of stuff. I'm going to try to move fast. Remember to pause or rewind whenever you need it. And of course, as always, we're here for any questions. Now, duplicate and incorrect information. This is such, it's a tough subject because whether we like it or not, our business has this digital footprint. And if we have not listed our site on Google Plus or Yelp or any of those, it doesn't matter because somewhere or another, our business has this digital footprint. And unless we are controlling it, the chances are that information can vary and really hurt your reputation in Google's eyes. This is what I mean. Take this business as an example, Josie Stationery. The exact same business, and maybe they opened 10 years ago at this current address, and they were using the owner's cell phone, and everything was in line, but then they moved and they had a new address and they got a corporate number that they're using. Well, the reality is all this old information is still existing out there. It might be in the yellow pages online, or it just might be in industry directories. Wherever it is, if this information is not matching up to the current and up-to-date information, then Josie Stationery is at a huge, huge disadvantage. And Google's going to look at this and they're going to kind of scratch their head and say, wait a second, so is this the same company or are these different companies? Should we rank both of them? And what ends up happening is they're usually like, nah, we're not going to rank any of them. So they just almost ignore Josie Stationery. So what we want to do is actually prevent this from happening. Now, what you can do to take care of this, I'm going to introduce you to a tool that easily allows you to identify what information is actually out there and incorrect. And this tool is Yext. So just go to yext.com. Yext is a wonderful, wonderful company. And what it allows you to do is you type in your business name and you type in your phone number and you're going to hit this scan now button. And I'm not going to show you what happens because it's so cool. But what it does is it actually populates a huge list of all these different citations and directory listings for your business. And it shows you how those are actually appearing online. And what you can do is use this as a checklist. You can go through and actually correct all those listings. You'll just go to yellowpages.com or AOL or MapQuest or wherever that incorrect listing is, and you can use this as a giant checklist to get that done. Now, Yext does offer a service. It is $500 annually, and they will go through and make sure all your information is correct. It's a little bit pricey, but you've got to value your time, and if that's something that you think is worth it, by all means, definitely consider it. From what I know, they do an absolutely great job. So the next thing we're going to talk about is citations. Now this is actually an image I grabbed from Yext, and this is just an example of all the places where your local listing is featured online. But what I want you to understand is Google absolutely loves citations because as you probably heard or understand, Google has all these little spiders all over the web crawling across all these websites, looking at what data is listed and where it's pointed, and basically utilizing that to decide what ranks in the search engine. And so Google loves citations because they know if you're an active business, if you're a business that's been around for a number of years, if you have a strong consumer base, well, chances are you're going to be listed on various citations. So Google looks at these citations and it says, hey, this business is on 150 different places. It has all the same information we have on our Google Plus page. This is a business we need to rank at the very top. So that's why Google really loves citations. It's almost like a way for them to actually pat themselves on the back for having the correct information. Now, what's cool about this is citations are perhaps one of the easiest offensive plays you can make to climb the rankings, because you can go out and input your correct business information in thousands and thousands of directories and citation locations. And that's something that's really, really cool. Now, I bet the next question you're asking is, well, how many citations do I need? It's an obvious question. It makes sense. And the answer to that is it completely varies on what industry you're a part of. And there's no real hard answer that, hey, if you're in the moving business or the roofing business or you own a bakery, you need XYZ amount of citations. But what you can do is ensure that you have more citations than every single one of your competitors. And to do that, I really like to lean on a tool called Whitespark. Whitespark is amazing in the sense that it'll actually populate all the citations that your competitors have listed. I believe it's something like $20 for 1 month. So you could pay $20 and pretty much gather all the citations, all the places that everyone in your local area that you are competing with is listed online. And much like you used Yext to create that checklist of actually where to list your business or correct, what information, with Whitespark, you're going to have this full list of places to actually list your business. So it's a really cool tool. Check them out. I can't emphasize how awesome they are. Now, I want to talk about how to correctly build citations because there is a science, if you will, to this. Now, first and foremost, remember identical geo and contact information. So you want to make sure every single time that you actually are listing your business, you have the geographical as well as contact information identical to what is on your Google Plus page. This is so important. And if you do this incorrectly, remember just the small variations of like using an 866 number in one place and an actual area code, local area code in another. If you do this incorrectly, you're really going to jeopardize your success at all of this. So pay attention to the details here. The next thing, always go in with a value-driven mindset. Anytime you build a citation, you want to make sure that you're just delivering a content-rich experience for the person who's going to look at that. So even these small sites out there that you don't think are going to have that much traffic, treat them like they're going to be the end-all be-all appearance of your business. Just like with Yelp and Yahoo Local, make sure that you have a lot of pictures and just a really rich description when you're building these citations. Now, lastly, I want to talk about something that people do very incorrectly, and it can almost have a complete opposite effect. In fact, I've seen companies that have been penalized for this, and that's because they built citations too fast. Google wants everything that's done to be done with a genuine attitude, an actual human behind the operation, so to speak. And there is a lot of software out there that will automate all of this and go out and essentially just spam the web. And that is something that Google is very against. The problem with that is if you're really overambitious or just an excited guy like I am, you'll go out and you'll build these citations, and sometimes you'll build them way too fast. So a good rule of thumb, I like to say, stick to 10 to 20 citations a week, and you shouldn't get yourself in trouble. It's just a great way to keep things safe, and you'll pick up the traction. You'll start seeing the results in a few months, and you're gonna do a great job and not jeopardize Google flagging your business for any reason. All right, so here is the secret that I spoke of in the introduction. This is something that I think when I explain it, you're just going to absolutely love. Our guarded secret, power citations. And if you're in the business of search, you probably heard this term several times, but I want to explain to you what exactly a power citation is. So power citations are industry-specific directories and areas that list businesses specifically for that niche. So if you are a roofing company, it would make sense for Google to find your company in the National Association of Roofing Companies. If you are a travel business operating in Hawaii, like one of our clients, it makes sense for Google to see their business in travel directories specifically around Hawaii. So these power citations are industry specific, and they carry a ton of authority in Google's eyes. And I like to compare this to an award show in a sense that if you're thinking about power citations, it's kind of like the red carpet. The who's who are occupying these power citations, and it's so important that your company is actually listed here. So I want to do just a quick example of how you can go about finding these power citations. Remember, you want to search for something related to your industry. So we're going to go over here, and I'm just going to type in roofing directory. Let's see what comes up. So immediately I see, it looks like this roofing directory, usually you want to see associations, national accreditations, or just big sites. This is probably one. Roofing contractors and companies, looks like they have everything listed by state. That's definitely one. Roofing contractors, regional directory, absolutely. Here we go, National Roofing Contractors Association, you better believe it. So all these are examples of power citations. And you want to make sure that your business has some of these because it's telling Google you're a key player in your industry. And it's going to pass along a ton of authority to your local listing. So when you're searching for things like this, do some use terms like directory, listings. You can even do like membership, just to figure out where those things are. A lot of times you'll just click on this and to list your business, if it's not really transparent, you'll just go to the contact us form. I found that most of them have a free option. It won't be a fancy listing, but you'll be there. You'll have all your contact information. That's all you need. Other ones will offer to list you as a premium advertised business, and you can certainly do that if that's what you fancy. But either way, just make sure you're listed in these power citations because they pack so much punch getting your business ranked. Now, the next thing we're going to be talking about are social signals. And just to dive into this, a lot of people ask, what are social signals? Social signals are kind of the offspin of all these networks that we interact with on a daily basis. So YouTube, Reddit, Facebook, Twitter, Google Plus, the actual Google Plus communities, things like that. All over the web, people are sharing links, they're sharing companies, they're doing what they can to interact. And Google looks at these social signals and says, hey, Google actually crawls these and they say, hey, if people are actually talking about this business, it must be a business that is really reputable that should be featured in our rankings. Because if people are saying it good or bad, Google at the very least takes it as, hey, this business exists. It needs to be validated in the returns. So that's what social signals are. Now, there are tons of different social signals, but I want to focus on the big five, and I'm about to show you how you can use this twofold, okay? So first things first, you want to make sure it's essential that your company is listed on and has profiles on these big ones. And I like to consider Google+, Pinterest, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook all big ones. And you want to optimize your profile just like you're setting up your Google Plus page. So input a business description, include your website, include contact information, link it to your website. You want to have all that stuff in place. Obviously, if you're setting up a Google page, hopefully you've already done that, but if not, no worries, because this is where you can do it, and this will cover the Google Plus portion of that. Now, what I'm about to show you is something, it's extremely advanced in the sense that it's going to get you some amazing rankings. Let me see, I might jump ahead, but anytime you're actually creating these citations, so going back to our power citations and even all these citations, you want Google to pay attention to these citations. So when you list your company in the white and yellow pages, you want Google to crawl that and see that it's your information and then pointing back to your website. And a way you can do this is actually tweeting about it or posting on LinkedIn or using Google+. And what you can do is simply, anytime you create a citation, you can go over to your Facebook page and say, hey, we're on the yellow pages. Check out our listing here, and provide a link to it. And what's beautiful about this is Google sees those social signals pointing towards that citation, and they're actually going to give favorable treatment to that citation. And if you remember, your citation is actually pointing to your Google profile. So it's just this huge circle that's really going to help itself. And you get so much value from doing this. Now, the more social signals you have pointing to all your citations, the better all your local returns are going to perform. So if you have your own personal profiles, definitely tweet about them, spread them on LinkedIn, do what you can. Ask your customers to interact with them. And, it's by all means very acceptable on your Facebook page to post about your new Pinterest account, or to talk about your Yelp page or whatever. And it's a great way to get your fans and your customers to know that you're on these other platforms. Super valuable there. Now I want to talk about something else that you can actually do, and that's utilizing the power citations and the social signals. Now, what you can do is actually go on these platforms, and you can write about your business or write about some of the things you're going that you're doing, and you can actually reference your power citation. Now, remember, the power citation is the industry relevant. They're the citations that Google looks at almost as the red carpet to make sure the who of who is on for your industry. And when you actually have social signals pointing to your power citations, it just creates an amazing snowball experience. It is so powerful. And so I really encourage you just to find ways to interact with your citations. Get creative about it. Ask your audience what their favorite platforms are that they use. Ask them if they use MapQuest. Ask them if they use AOL or Yahoo Local, things like that, and then link directly to your profile. It's a great way to get interaction going on those fronts, and really does a lot in Google's eyes. No, now just to reiterate, again, these are the 5 profiles that you want to make sure you have covered. That's Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Pinterest, and Google+. All right, so we've done a ton of work. If you've done everything, you are on your way to the top. Now I want to talk about how to actually stay on top, because if you're like me, you don't want to put in all this work. You don't want to keep doing things month in, month out, only to see all the results go away. So with that, the first thing I want to emphasize is consistent social signals. Google is looking at these social profiles and basically sorting through what businesses are accurately engaged and which ones are not. So you want to make sure that you're consistently utilizing your social profiles, sending out those social signals. The next thing, like I talked about before, citations. You don't want to build these all at once. Every month you want to be adding to your citation count, because the reality is a lot of businesses, they get to this top spot and then they think that all the work is done, and they stop building citations. They stop growing the places where their business information is listed correctly. So you want to keep adding to your citation count, because that's going to show Google you're an active business, you're still growing, more people are finding out about you, and you still, you deserve to be at that top spot. And then lastly, you want to consistently use social signals and point to those new citations. So we went over how to actually, incorporate your citations with your social signals. You want to keep doing that on a consistent basis. It gets fresh eyeballs to those citations and gives fresh links for Google to crawl. So that's really important there. All right, so just to recap everything in this business, in this video, we went over the holy grail to syncing your rankings, which is, of course, the duplicate and incorrect information. We went over citations and why Google loves them so much. We actually dived into power citations, that little secret about Google's authority-driven industry favorites that are just going to create tons and tons of authority for your business in Google's eyes. And then we went over social signals. We talked about the 5 profiles you must have, how to utilize them and stay active on them, and how to make them work twofold for you by actually being active and sharing citations. And then we finally went over on how to stay on top, and that's just that consistency play. So hopefully this information has really opened your eyes to how you can climb the rankings. Hopefully you've learned a few new things. I want you to stay tuned for our next video, because we're going to be going into a ton of really cool stuff about how to automate all this and really make sure that it's part of your business DNA. So with that, I will sign off. Thank you so much. Look forward to our next video.